This is like take 572. I did not expect this to be this hard to share, but it is. And I really want to share it. Hello lovelies, and welcome to my channel. As you can already tell from the thumbnail and the title, I'm going to be talking to you today about my personal story and my personal experience with postpartum depression and anxiety. Now, I filmed this already about 572 times, and I'm hoping this is the last one. In fact, I'm just gonna just keep pushing through it. I didn't realize how hard it was gonna be to share the story until I actually sat down and started to try and share it. In fact, I didn't even plan on sharing this story. I have like a content calendar of topics that I want to talk about, and nowhere on that topic list is postpartum depression and anxiety. But I was in the shower this morning and I was just really inspired to share it, and I just really believe in going with that inspiration and just doing it even if you haven't planned on it. So this video is probably gonna be like super choppy and like a brain dump, and I apologize if it's something hard to watch, but I really feel like it's something that I need to share because maybe there's someone out there who would benefit from hearing my story. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just wasting my time right now, but who knows? Alright, so with that being said, I want to tell you my story and my experience with postpartum depression, because it doesn't have to be sad. It can actually be really hopeful. Alright, so before I get into the postpartum side of things, I really think I should tell you that I've always struggled with anxiety and depression. So ever since I can remember, I distinctly remember having a panic attack when I was 6 years old, but ever since I can remember, I've had panic attacks, night terrors, nightmares, and not just like your typical child's nightmare, like very terrifying stuff. Some very scary stuff that I used to dream about and still do to this day. I now know that all those things come from anxiety. I don't really know why I have anxiety. I guess I'm just more genetically prone to it. I'm not a doctor or a psychologist, so I really don't know how these things really truly work, but I just know that I've always struggled with them, and I think that's all that really matters. So with that being said, since I've always struggled with it and I've always had these things and I've learned to cope with them over the years, I should have known, even though I don't think I did, I should have known I would be more susceptible to having postpartum depression and anxiety. So there's that. Alright, so now that I've covered that I've always struggled with anxiety and depression, I'm going to hop into the actual postpartum bit. If you want to hear more information about my life struggle with anxiety and depression, I might be willing to share that part of it. Just kind of let me know in the comments. That'll probably be even harder to share than postpartum depression anxiety. Anywho, so jumping into the current situation. 2 years ago, I had my son Silas. He's 2 years old, hence I had him 2 years ago. And I will say that during the pregnancy, I had no anxiety, no depression, nothing. Actually, I remember telling my husband,
"Oh my God, I'm so happy. I haven't had a panic attack. I haven't had any sort of depression. I'm so freaking happy. I love this. I love being pregnant. This is my calling. This is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to be a mom."
And I still feel like that to this day. I actually love being pregnant. But things kind of started going downhill very close to the end of my pregnancy. And looking back, hindsight 2020, I was probably getting really worried subconsciously about the responsibility of becoming a parent and all that entails. And that's totally natural to have those fears, but mine was starting to become irrational, and I'm going to talk about that more in detail. So let me give you an example of what it means to become irrational with your anxiety and depression. I can remember toward the end of my pregnancy with Silas, I had just washed some dishes and I got the kitchen clean. It was sparkling and beautiful. And then my husband had a spatula or something. I guess he was cooking. And he put the spatula in the sink. And guys, this is so embarrassing to say. I'm not proud of this at all, but it's a real life example of what anxiety can do. When he put the spatula in there, I just lost it. I just lost it, and I just lit into him about how he
put the spatula in the sink, and I just washed the sink, and how dare he put the spatula in the sink, I just cleaned it,
and da-da-da-da, and I'm that's a mild representation of what happened. Sadly, it was a huge blown up mess, and I'm not proud of it. And that should have been my first red flag of you might need some help. And I'm sure my husband saw it, but he's super kind and gentle, and I don't deserve him. But that was like the first big thing that happened before I even had my son. And it was just like lashing out. I think people can think that panic attacks are like going in the corner and like, rocking yourself, but it's not that. For me, my anxiety manifests in anger. And I know a lot of people probably who know me, they are like, Hannah gets angry? What? When I have anxiety, like real anxiety issues, it manifests in anger, and I'm not proud of it. And not many people see that, just people who are really, really close to me. So that's super personal information I shared with you. Alright, so moving on. Once I had Silas, everything went beautifully. Like, honestly, the birth and delivery aspect of it all, it went perfectly. Like, everything that I had planned happened, and I was just so proud of myself, and I felt like,
I am woman, hear me roar. I just had a natural delivery with no epidural. I am she woman, and I can do anything.
and I was just like so proud of myself. And for me personally, I never felt a disconnect between me and Silas. In fact, we had a really, really strong bond, I felt like. So for me personally, that was not a symptom of postpartum depression. I know that can be for some women out there, but mine really manifested through anxiety and anger, and it really hindered my relationship with my husband, and ultimately myself, and ultimately my child, because if my husband and I are having a good time, then that's going to affect our child and ultimately my mental health. I digress. Keeping on. Still had a wonderful bonding relationship with my son, but there was this internal dialogue that I would have with myself, and I was telling myself in a very irrational way that if I didn't take care of him perfectly, if I didn't do everything perfectly, then he was going to die. Saying that out loud sounds ridiculous, but it's the lie that I was telling myself. It was the little anxiety monster telling me,
you know what, if you don't do this, he's gonna die. If you don't do this, he's gonna be malnourished.
Everything, like, it's anxiety is a word I can't say on here, but yeah, insert word. I was just telling myself that if I didn't do this, he was gonna die. So that's an immense amount of pressure to put on yourself. So of course, that perpetuated fear and anxiety and depressing as heck, because I'm telling myself that if I don't do it right, then he's gonna die. Like, oh my God, that's just crazy, right? This is hard. After he was born, we bonded really well, breastfeeding was going well, everything was good, but then I would have like these little thoughts come into my brain and unwanting and just telling me these things, and they would cause panic attacks. Now, because I've had panic attacks for all of my life, I've gotten really, really good at coping with them. In fact, I could be having a panic attack right now and you wouldn't know it. I've gotten really good at hiding them. There's been multiple times where I've had panic attacks in front of people and they don't know I'm having them because I don't show it outwardly. So I can distinctly remember I was holding my child on the recliner and I was having a panic attack, and my husband was on the couch and he was watching TV, and I remember just like having tears, waterfall tears just coming down my face, and silently crying, holding my child and thinking, I cannot do this anymore. I cannot feel this way anymore, and I'm gonna go nutty. Like I'm going to, like, I just can't do this anymore. And not that I couldn't take care of my son anymore, or not that I wanted to do something to myself, but I knew that this was irrational. I knew that I needed help. I told my husband, I said, I'm going to tell my doctor, I'm going to tell him I need some help, medication or something, because I can't handle this anymore. I'm not coping with this well at all, and I don't have the tools to do that. My husband, being the amazing man he is super supportive.
He's like, awesome, I think that'd be great. I'm on board with you if that's what you want to do.
I can remember going to the doctor's office and being like super like embarrassed, because, which of course I shouldn't be, he's a doctor, he deals with this stuff, but like there's such a stigma with mental health, and so you're just like, oh, what judges me? In fact, I'm having like that anxiety right now sharing this on video, because there are going to be people who judge. So anyways, I remember going to my doctor and I was like, let me try to keep this as casual as possible. He was like,
Just ask me, how are you doing?
and I'm like,
Good, but I'm having lots of anxiety, yeah.
like just like threw it in there. And of course, he's a doctor. He's gonna hear anxiety and go, red flag. Of course, he was like,
Okay, cool. So you want to tell me about your anxiety? What's happening? Can you explain what's happening?
I was like,
I've always dealt with panic attacks and I'm used to it. It's not a big deal, but I'm having a lot of anxiety and crying a lot and pretty much having daily panic attacks. But it's no big deal.
I was like trying to like make this like the most casual thing in the world, as if this is normal, that I should live like this, as if it's like perfectly okay to live a life of having daily panic attacks. Oh my God, like. So he was like,
Well, we have some resources, and we can help you there. And is some medication is one of those resources? Is that something you would like to consider?
and I was like,
Yes, please, and thank you. I appreciate that.
in that moment, like I've been to counselors and therapists before in the past when like I needed them. Like I've never gone like regularly, but when things got tough, I would go, get the tools that I needed from them to help me cope with like things that were making things worse. And that would be enough. That would be like plenty. But this is like the worst that my anxiety has ever gotten. And so I was like, yes, please, thank you. Give me my prescription and I will take the pills immediately. He gave me a prescription of 25 milligrams. 25 milligrams of Zoloft. Honest to God, I was super embarrassed to take them because, again, stigmas. I was convinced that, like, I was, like, copping out in some way. Like, I was being a less than a mom in some way, which is totally ridiculous. But I knew for me, I was like, I'm just gonna tell my husband and myself, and, like, that's the only two people that are gonna know. Lord knows, I never thought I would put this out on the internet. But I didn't even tell my mom immediately because I tell her everything, guys. Like, she knows way too much information about my life. I didn't even tell her. But eventually I did tell her because she's like my best friend. Hey Mom, thanks for watching my videos. And guys, I just want to say that was the best decision that I made. I don't know why there's a huge stigma with antidepressants, because I almost wonder if I could have dealt with things with anxiety in my past if I would have been on Zoloft a little sooner. But I can't live with what ifs, but I can live with gratefulness, and I'm so grateful that I decided in that moment to start taking it, because I was unaware of how fast my mind operated until I took Zoloft. Something about the Zoloft like slowed my mind down. Not like in a way that I was like slow and not thinking clearly, not in like a foggy way, but like just in a normal paced way. Like, I didn't realize that my mind was running so fast with thoughts. It constantly thinking, like 90 to nothing thoughts constantly in my mind. And I thought that was normal, and it's not. And the Zoloft allowed my brain to just kind of go,
Oh, whoa, Nelly, we gotta stop this, and we gotta slow down, and we got to think rationally about these things.
Guys, like, I don't know if like Zoloft does this. I'm not a medical professional, but I feel like it like rewired my brain, because even after I weaned myself off of it, I still like I was afraid. I was like, maybe I hope I don't go back to how I was thinking. Like, what if like this medicine was keeping me so centered? What if it was the medicine? What if I still need to stay on it? But like, the doctor was recommending that I come off of it after a year and just see how things were. And so I wanted to try it. I mean, I didn't want to be on medication for the rest of my life. And so I didn't think I needed that. The doctor didn't think I needed that. So I was like so terrified. I'm like,
God, please, like, whatever was working, please let it stick.
Because I really was liking my life while I was on Zoloft. Thankfully, whatever happened in the medical biology, whatever, I'm not a medical doctor, did I say that? Whatever happens with Zoloft, it stuck. So afterward, while yes, it was, I definitely saw like I was more susceptible to anxiety, I would like catch myself. Like, so if my husband were to put the spatula in the sink and I could feel that like rage, I had the capacity to say, no, Hannah, you're being irrational. You don't need to be angry right now. It's a spatula. For me, I'm so thankful that we have medication that helped me. And I didn't even have to be like on a high dose. It was 25 milligrams, like the lowest dose they offer I was on. And so I was really grateful for that at the time. So fast forward to my second pregnancy. Like I said, it was amazing. Like, there was no issue whatsoever. I was so happy. Everything's going great. My doctor talked to me and he was like,
So, last time you had struggles, so we should probably start you on Zoloft toward the end of your pregnancy so we can take care of that.
and I was like,
Do I have to? Because I'm really coping well with everything.
and he was
Like, well, you don't have to. I would recommend it because you're going to be more susceptible to having it again. But it's totally your call, and we'll just like play it by ear.
So that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to play it by ear. If I didn't have to get back on the antidepressants, then I didn't want to. It was just a personal preference. And so that was the game plan, is just to kind of play it by ear. But he kept recommending that I start it 2 weeks before, but yeah, I'm stubborn. So we went through the whole thing. Everything was going great. I had my daughter. Everything was wonderful, and then the unexpected happened. She had trouble breathing directly after giving birth, and I had trouble feeding, and so she ultimately had to go to NICU to be put on a feeding tube, and that was extremely terrifying and a traumatic event. And so my doctor was like,
"So about that Zoloft."
And I was like,
Yes. Give me the Zoloft.
of course, it wouldn't reach its full potential until I took it for 2 weeks, but I knew I needed to go ahead and start it because this was definitely a traumatic event, and I wanted to be safe rather than sorry, so it wasn't going to hurt to take it. Even if I could have coped with everything without it, what was it going to hurt to take something that had helped me before? So, again, I'm currently on Zoloft because they recommend being on it for a minimum of 6 months to a year. So, I don't know where I'm going to be at with this. I definitely want to follow my doctor's directions and not be stubborn. So we will see where I'm at. But as far as this go around, yeah, I haven't had any symptoms of postpartum depression or anxiety. Granted, I'm on Zoloft. So that's probably helping with that, obviously. So I just wanted to share my story with you and kind of like destigmatize the whole thing, because I don't mean this in a bad way. No, I'm gonna own it. I'm actually gonna own it. I'm a kick ASS mom. I'm a kick butt mom. And I'm really proud of myself. And just because I had anxiety did not make me a bad mom. I just want to put that out there. Like, I think mothers tend to think, oh no, I have anxiety, I have depression, I'm a bad mom, I feel disconnected to my child or whatever. It does not make you a bad mom. What would have made me a bad mom and wife was to continue and not get help. So I urge you, if you feel these things, to please talk to your doctor and get the help you need, whether that's therapy or medication or whatever they recommend, and don't feel bad about it. And unlike me, you don't have to share it with anybody. It's nobody's business. So if you feel any shame about it, first of all, you shouldn't, because you are living with you. There's nothing to be ashamed of. And then second of all, if you don't want to share it with anybody, you don't have to. So who's going to know that you're struggling with that? But I will say, the best thing that I did with my anxiety was share. To get it off my chest, to share it with my husband, to share it with professionals like therapists and counselors, to share it with my mom and my doctor. And that way I can be my optimal self so that I can be the best mom. And I can honestly say I am the happiest I've ever been in my entire life. And I attribute that to, one, just maturing and growing up and having some like realizations about my life. I also attribute it to being on the Zoloft and having that time where my brain was like, whoa, we need to slow down. And then like just coming to terms with some things in my life. So I don't know if this was any help at all. I don't even know. Maybe I'm just wasting my time filming this today. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to edit this into an eloquent way, because it was just a brain dump. And I typically plan these videos out rather than just like have a brain dump. Alright, well, she's getting upset. She's waking up and she's ready to eat, and I'm going to go feed her and myself because it's like 1 o'clock and I haven't had lunch. Alright. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more videos like this, please subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any questions. I'm pretty much an open book at this point, and so I'd be happy to share any question or any answers to your questions or whatever. And yeah, I think that's all I have for today. Thanks guys, and bye-bye.